Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul and Screen. This particular video will be a review of Zatima, Tyler Perry's Zatima, Season 4, Episode number 3, titled Who Left the Door Open? And let's just get straight into it. At the beginning of this episode, love the way they opened it. They kind of picked up from the last episode where Zach and Fatima were going upstairs and she's like, come on, you can help put me to sleep. So they pick up this episode with them waking up from their nap and Fatima's still asleep. Zach is trying not to wake her up but get out of the bed, and looks like she might be laying on his arm. So he kind of gets up and he maneuvers and she catches him. She's like, what you doing? And like, where you going? And he's like, and he tries to, he was trying not to say it because he was trying, he knows that he have told Fatima that he was going to, help her with the dinner and stuff like that. So he ends up telling her, like, babe, I just got to go in. And so she's like, Zach, are you serious? And so they kind of get into it a little bit, and not a big argument or anything, just kind of just like, you're supposed to be here to help get stuff together for your partners. And he's like, it's a potluck. We can order something. And she's like, well, no, I want to do it, but I just want you to help. She's like, I don't want to do all this on my own. Plus, we supposed to be spending some time with each other. It's Saturday, and you know what I mean? So Fatima is definitely, like I said in the other video, she's nesting, and then she's in this place where, she wants to be with her man. Like, she's like, let's start building some quality time and some moments here and now. Like, let's start prioritizing, us. And so Zach is not falling into suit with this. He keeps having to he keeps getting called away, and so he's trying to figure out how to leave the house without Fatima knowing, and it just didn't work out. So then he's like, just relax. Now he's just trying to calm her down, and help try to, because she mad, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, just relax, like, babe, it's gonna be okay. And she's just like, no. And he's like, plus you tired, why don't you just lay back down, we'll order some stuff, like it's gonna all work out. And she's like, plus you've been tired, just take a nap. He's like, you've been coming home every day after work and just going to sleep, and you've been so tired you haven't even taken your makeup off. And she's like, well, and he's like, yeah. And he was like, and you starting to snore and you sound like a bear and stuff. And she's like, I know you didn't. And so she was like, I don't snore. And he's like, well, who don't snore? So he recorded him with his petty self. I was like, that's something that people do. I was like, the pettiness of this episode, this scene was so petty but cute at the same time, because he recorded her snoring and she was like, wow, really? And then she had a picture of him where apparently he was just like drooling all over himself in his sleep. And so that was super cute of them. So it kind of, lifted, things a little bit and lifted some of the tension. And he's just like, okay, so I'm going to go in. And she's like, all right, whatever. So anyway, he goes, picks up at Bryce's and Preston's building. So he's at his desk and Bryce walks in and he's like, we still on for the night? And Zach's like, yeah, we still on. And he's like, cool, I got this wine. It's like this great wine. It's like, and so Zach is like, that's cool. So what else you bringing? Like, what you bringing to eat? Because it's a potluck, and you talking about bringing wine, and my wife is pregnant and can't drink. So what you bringing for us to eat? And I thought this was really cool and real talk of the writers to bring that in, because it is always somebody when you do the potluck or do the get together. It's always somebody like, I'm gonna bring the cups in the sodas, but they leave with like tons of plates of food, but they don't never bring nothing but something to drink. So I really thought that was cool of the writers to make that real moment and have Zach put it into it before it even started. Like, what you bringing? And so he was like, Bryce is like, I actually didn't think about bringing no food because I didn't think black people eat everybody's food. And real talk, that's Let me say that's true for me and my family. Let me just say it that way. So we don't eat a whole lot of people's food. And then we kind of want to know who cooked it, like, even in the family. So who cooked this? Which aunt cooked this? That kind of thing. So anyway, I thought that was super cool and real of the conversation. Then Bryce ends up asking, can he bring a date? And Zach is like, yeah, but let me talk to Fatima. And then Preston walks in and starts talking about this new deal that they might be able to get into. And pretty much that's it for that scene. It moves on to, I believe, where Angela is calling Fatima just to see how everything is going. And Fatima is coming back from the grocery store. And she's just like, oh, my goodness, I'm trying to, get everything together for this partner's dinner that I want to put together. And so Angela's like, oh, okay, well, anything I could do, since I'm coming anyway. And she was like, wait a minute, you coming? And she was like, well, yeah, like Bryce asked me to be his date. And she goes, they didn't ask you? They didn't say nothing to you? And Fatima's like, no, they didn't. So she's mad, she's just like, real, like, Zach better ask somebody. And so she was like, but anyway, good you come in, and so Angela, she was like, because I can help you. And she's like, cool. She was like, so just text me what you need me to do, what you need me to bring. And she was like, okay. And in the middle of that, Zach calls, and Fatima got an attitude on the phone. She's just like, hello. And so he's like, what I do? And she's like, first of all, you told them that they can bring a date to the dinner, and you're not here to help cook none of this, and you're not here to set nothing up. You just inviting extra people, and you ain't here to help with the people that was supposed to be here. So so he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, don't do it again, but at least Angela gonna help. And so it was kind of funny in that too. So then the next scene is basically Zach coming back home, and I guess Fatima must have forgot some things at the store. So he's like, Lucy, I'm home, which I thought was cute because I like the I Love Lucy reference. I am a lover of I Love Lucy. And so I thought that was cute. But, she's like, cool, did you get everything I asked you? And he's like, well, I got some of the stuff. So he got the eggs and stuff. But he was like, the seasoning that she told him to get, he was like, I just honestly just went and grabbed a whole bunch of seasonings. And so I was just like, so why do people go to the store and instead of calling and just saying, what am I supposed to get again? Is it like one thing, or just saying that they just grab the wrong thing? And so he ended up getting a ton of seasonings, and not one of them was the one that she asked for. So she was a little irritated about that. She was like, you know what, just put the buns and the rolls and stuff in the oven. And, and then she starts talking, and he's like trying to calm her down again, like, just relax. Like, I'm telling you, this is about to be easy. Like, quit stressing yourself out. And she's like, I'm not. And he's just like, so he's talking to her, and she's like, come taste this. And he's rubbing on her stomach and stuff. And I was just like, I love this about them. This is the Zatima that I wish we can see in Sisters again sometimes. They tried to do it in season 9, kind of with her, him laying on her lap earlier, but it like he grieving and stuff too. So it's right. It's been a long time since we just seen them just be cutesy with each other and, kind of messing with each other kind of a thing. So I love it. I'm glad that Zatima's back on. So anyway, let's move back on to the scenes. I think what happens next is they end up having a conversation and about, Angela and how she got invited and stuff. And he's like telling her, I had to set Bryce straight and so he can check Angela. And she's like, what? You like, don't be starting no stuff, Zach, because, you don't know nothing about their relationship or nothing. And he's like, she using him. And she's like, she not using him. He's using her in actuality. Cause, he trying to get something from her. And so he's like, you would say that. And she was like, well, like, what did you tell him? And he's like, I ain't gonna say nothing. And he was like, and I see why you would tell or think that, because, real talk, I think you using me. And she looked at him like, what? And she was like, no, for your information, FYI, this ring that's on my finger says that I'm not. And he was like, since when? And she was like, because it just means that you doing your duty. You supposed to be doing these things, helping, with the laundry, helping and all the stuff that you complaining about. And so he was like, yeah, okay, well, I tell you what, you're going to do some of your duties later on. And so she was like, oh, I see, okay. So then they start kind of, playing with each other and stuff like that. And yeah, he says something, and he's like, he was like, tell me what you need me to do. And so she's like, I need you to do the laundry and take out the trash when it's supposed to be done. And so, and he was like, oh. And she was like, oh, she was like, oh, you thought you was going to get something twice in one day. And he's like, I used to. And she's like, yeah, but, it's something about the house not being in order that kind of put me out of the mood. And so in the middle of them going back and forth and bickering a little bit, he gives her a kiss, and then the doorbell rings, and it's the dinner guests are coming. So Bryce and Angela walk in first, and then Preston walks in after, and he ends up having Deja with him. And I don't know what he was thinking about bringing Deja, and I don't know why Deja thought she was okay coming as well. So the other thing is, I'm not really sure why they're trying to push Deja and Preston together. Like, I just think like they need to either find somebody else who can, who Preston can date, or just kind of leave it off screen, let him be dating somebody, but she never really kind of get brought around or something like that or something. And then they need to leave the Angela and Bryce thing alone to me too, because I think what happens is they tend to do this in both shows, is that they try to make people like people who they don't really want to be with. You know what I mean? So Angela does not want to be with Bryce because she can't get past his fetish, but it's kind of like, if he stay around, maybe she'll eventually start liking him. But that's not necessarily how things happen. They did that in Sisters as well. You know what I mean? Like with the Sabrina character, trying to make her like the Calvin, and she didn't like certain things about him and his dynamic and stuff. It's just, you can't make people like people when it's something so big that is that's kind of pushing them away. It's like it's unattractive to them. So anyway, I really kind of wish they either move on with that and find them somebody else to date, where they could just kind of say, yeah, my girl is over here and that kind of thing, and we might never see her, and that's fine too. But quit trying to push those two couples together and find something else to do with their storyline. I think that would be very much appreciated as somebody who watches the show. No shade to the writers or anything. I'm not feeling that whole that whole pushing them Preston and Deja together. So let's see what else. I think, so Deja walks in, and immediately Fatima is like, she got to go. Like, and so Preston's like, is she my date? And so it's just funny because Preston was like, I didn't know that you had an issue with her, but she untold, Deja said, even in season 3, at the end of season 3, she don't F with me like that, you know what I mean? And Fatima actually told Preston, you better burn that phone number for it burn you, kind of thing. So now I understand he's supposed to be like this white dude, so he may not know what Fatima meant, but he probably could tell that she don't really like her. So probably should have asked before you just bring somebody to somebody's house. And even if he didn't know, Deja did. So that was them. The other storylines, Belinda kicking Nate out, not interested in it. He went over to ask, Tony if he can move back in, and they all was like, you just need to get back with your wife. So I believe that's how the Lori coming back into the picture storyline is coming forth. Then it was, I believe, Jeremiah. At the end of the episode, he's like getting high, and he's like doing it. Turns out while he's doing it, he's having hallucinations, seeing his mom and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to have Miss Gladys kind of show up in different scenes, and while he's going through it, either to help him get cleaned or to just kind of, I don't know how they're going to do that. That'll be interesting. Or if was this just kind of a one time of her resurfacing just to show kind of what is happening while he's high. He's not just getting high no more. Now he's using it to see his mom. and it's a different version of her. She like her hair is all done up and cute and stuff like that, and so it's like he's seeing her in a glorified form. So thought that was interesting, and it'll be kind of a little bit more interesting to see how the writers are going to do that. My one concern, which I will bring up, and I've made this point with the Sisters universe or episodes, is to me sometimes too many storylines can kind of pull away and kind of not be good for an episode or a season. So it's kind of like I don't want them to put so many different storylines into this particular season and then get to the other couple of seasons and now they don't know what to do with it, because I think that's kind of what happened with Sisters. Sisters is kind of losing its momentum, but I think it's because they had too many storylines going on instead of just picking a couple. So I think, everybody doesn't need to have a separate storyline that we go through at this in this particular season. Like, we can spread it out. So the whole Nate getting back together with his wife, the whole Tony shooting somebody, and then the cancer thing with Connie, and then the Bryce and Angela, going back and forth, and then with Sean, and then now the Deja and Preston on top of the Zach and Fatima stuff, which is their show. So it's their show. We want to see more of that and some of these other storylines that are coming in to fill it. I hope the writers just be careful to not, flood the episodes with a whole bunch of different episode and storylines that it kind of overwhelms the audience to the point where we start losing the momentum, because it could have been used like this. These two storylines could have been in the next season, and these two storylines could be in the next season, and just integrate them in with what's going on with Zach and Fatima so that it's not too much, because I think that's what's happening with Sisters. And from what I've been seeing and been told, like, the momentum, you can tell the momentum is going down, like the ratings are going down, and I really want these shows to succeed. Like, I love the characters, I love the actors, I love the writing for the most part, although I do see some you can kind of tell definitely when the writers change, and that's fine. It's just you just got to be careful not to overwhelm and flood the storylines, and to the point where you forget or the episodes are not showing who we're here to watch. So for Zatima, we're here for Zach and Fatima. So to me, the majority of the episodes, as much as possible, should be of them, and then maybe about good 10 minutes or so the other characters and storylines. And I also think they need to do that with Sisters. I know this is Zatima, but I just think that if they did that on both shows, maybe the momentum would be a little bit higher. But I say that to say I am actually still really excited about the season. I'm hoping it continues to progress well. I'm liking what they're doing for the most part with the storyline. And in the Leslie storyline, I'll get into that in the next episode, because she wasn't in the episode 3, it was episode 4. So I will go ahead and in this review here. Please let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. What do you think about the season so far? We're at episode 3. Do you like the little cute banter with Zach and Fatima as they navigate the pregnancy portion of their new relationship dynamic? And what about the other storylines? Do you think they're fine how they are, or you kind of agree with me, like it's kind of maybe a little bit too much? Or do you think that the writers are like right on point with it? And again, this is like no shade to the writers. Everybody, sees things different, and they the one who over there doing it and making money. So again, no shade, just my 2 cents, so to speak. But definitely looking forward to reading some of the comments, and I will check with you next episode. Bye.